Hey guys, how are you?
Hi, Igor.
Wow, I've never joined the meeting on Zoom. The sound quality the public gets is absolutely epically horrendous. Holy cow, wow. All right. Uh this is funny. Anyway, all right, let's it is what? It's 11:06. Let's call this meeting to order. Uh can you hear me?
Yes, now in order.
Okay, so I called the meeting to order. I wanted to add thing to the agenda is that I would like to resign because I'm too busy taking care of my kids and selling a lot of houses, and it's a lot of things. I don't want to fail my peers because my attention span is just not there. So here we go. Um,
When are you resigning?
so what do we do now, Ken?
Are you resigning right now or at the end of this meeting? Give us a hint.
So I propose this change to the agenda that we add my that I propose that I resign.
You're resigning now, okay, got it. Well, that, you can just announce it and resign and I'll just take over the meeting.
All right.
If that's what you want to do, or do you want to finish this meeting and we'll have an election
No,
next?
no, 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 no. I want to do it now because you're much better at running meetings, Ken, than I am. So I'd rather you do it, man.
Igor, are you resigning from the entire?
No, just as chair.
Oh, no, no. I'm resigning as a chair. I want to stay on the commission. I absolutely love it.
All right, so, with Igor's resignation, Igor, you're no longer the chairperson. We have no chairperson. I am the vice chair. I will start. I will handle the rest of the meeting.
All right. Awesome. Thanks, Ken.
Yeah.
By the way, Irene's had her hand up for quite a while.
I see that, and now that I'm the chair, I will recognize Irene. Irene Renner.
Hi, I'm walking to the.
Irene is right here.
Oh, hi, everyone.
So it's really hard to hear online, and Keith had asked that we record it for him, so I don't know if anybody has.
It is
phone
recorded.
Where they could, and it's horrible, the quality of this, just you try to listen, much less than a recording is gonna be really hard for Keith. So somebody can
Igor just
record on their phone, it'd be really helpful.
Igor just got online with Karen, how wonderful it was on his Zoom, I could go.
I'm recording it on my auto. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, we are back in the meeting. Irene's hand was not for anything else, I guess. Okay, great. All right, meeting's called to order. Any other agenda changes need to be made?
Do we have copies of the agenda again? Thank you.
I got, oh, here you go.
Oh, thank you.
And I have a change for an addition.
Okay, what do we have from staff?
An introduction of Anne and a thank you to Igor.
Got it, we'll do that right away. Right after public teacher. Anybody else? Okay, we have one small change to the agenda. I'll ask for a motion to approve that change.
Oh,
One.
I have one more. They removed the, business item C, draft economic development study presentation, that will have to get moved till when Lindsay is available.
Okay, so we have two changes to the agenda, introduction and thank you, and canceling item 6C. I'm still seeking a motion to approve the amended agenda.
I move that we approve the amended agenda to acknowledge Igor and myself and delete item C.
Moved by Ann, is there a second?
Did we already amend the agenda?
We just
We're
didn't
gonna-
do that.
we're gonna do that.
put his resignation on?
Yes, that.
That already passed? Okay, I'll second it.
Thank you. Seconded by Irene Renner. All in favor of approving the amended agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And I assume there, Igor, are you there? Igor,
He's muted.
unmute Igor. We just need to know that you're voting one way or the other. Otherwise, I'll have to mark you as not voting. Okay, that would make it 3 yes, 1 not voting. Okay, we have another, that is a quorum, we have an approved agenda. We can move on to the next item, which is public, which is going to be, right after public, which is the introduction. I think I see one member of the public, Jeremy Little. If you are here to address the Economic Development Commission, now is your chance.
Hey there, everybody. Just attending to listen in today. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you for being here. All right, then, seeing no other public members, no. So, if you don't know, we have a new member to our committee, Ann Miller. Why don't you say hello, introduce yourself, and tell us what you hope to accomplish, if anything in particular?
Hello, everyone. I am a 10-year resident of Essex, Vermont. I am interested in engaging the local business community to see what we can do to improve business for local businesses. I have worked in business development, which is not sales, but working in trying to develop new business for some time. More years than I care to admit. Thank you.
Welcome aboard, and thank you for applying. And Igor, I think that we owe you some thanks for serving as our chairperson up to this point. I don't suppose you want to take over for Keith and be the clerk, do you?
No, I already done the clerk thing. I apologize earlier. I couldn't figure how to turn on the speaking thing, so I didn't vote, not because I was trying to abstain. It was a technology thing. But I also wanted to ask the person who just spoke, the town resident, what kind of business are they in? It wasn't clear here. So if they can let us know, it'd be awesome.
Hi, Igor, that was me, Ann Miller, and I am a consultant to life science companies.
I think he's referring.
Oh, you're talking about Jeremy Little, okay, yes, sorry.
He's a Vermont Chamber of Commerce.
Outreach associate.
Okay, thank you. Thanks.
In this meeting, I am attending as just a public citizen, a resident of Essex, Vermont.
Anybody else want to say something to Igor in gratitude? Now's your chance.
Irene has her hand
Oh, you are recognized, Ms. Renner.
Thank you, Igor. I've chaired committees. It's not easy. Thanks for stepping up to do it and doing it for at least half a year now. Appreciate it.
All right. The only thing you're going to approve the agenda. We can have an election today. We have to amend the agenda again, which we can do. Or just wait until next time when Keith is here, which I think would be so.
I would be better, I think.
I will be the acting chairperson. I will get with Jean to make sure that that is added to our next agenda. Election. So Jean, if you kindly note that, got it? In case I have to not get in touch with you, please make sure that's on our next agenda, rather important.
Yes.
Okay, minutes. We have 2 sets of minutes to approve. Are there any changes necessary to those minutes?
I didn't.
Should I just yell out or should I wait for you?
I guess I gotta start. You
You can sit over there.
Actually, great, everybody was a visual rate, but that's okay. We appreciate your access to your activities. You are recognized.
Thank you. On the September 3rd minutes, I would like to make a correction to line 24 that parentheses should say GBIC after Alex's name. And on line 40, I'd just like to spell out Northern Border Regional Commission so that people know what NBRC means. Line 40. And
Sure, I'm gonna double check on recording. We can get it.
okay, that should do it.
Thank you for those changes. And we're here to them. I thought they were fine. The only thing I would say is that there are a couple items that we did move on and it did not get reflected in the next set of on the agenda. But not needing to change. All right, so we have 2 sets of minutes to approve.
Yeah, so we can look at the second set. I have
That's just
corrections
the
on the
first one.
second
That
set.
was the September 3rd, right?
Right.
And now we're gonna do September
18th.
18th. let's first approve the September third minutes and then we'll be done.
Sounds good.
All in favor of approving the amended September third minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Igor, are you there? Can't hear you if you are.
Hold on. Shit.
Okay, so that would be 4-0 on approval of the September third minutes
With corrections.
with corrections. Two corrections, line 24 and 40, as stated in the recording. That's approved 4-0. September 18th minutes. This was the one where we went to, the training facility. Ms. Renner?
We went to lingerie.
Oh, laundry, that's the one before, wow, I'm getting them all confused already.
So
The rest.
line 4, it's not an Essex junction, it's just an Essex. Line 10, Ann Miller's first name has an E after it. Line 33, Nicolette Barron's name has just one R. And then should do it.
Okay, a few changes to the September 18th agenda, line 4, 10, and 33.
Minutes, not agenda.
Minutes, thank you. Is there a motion to approve the amended minutes?
I move that we approve the amended minutes from
Yeah.
September 18th.
And Miller moves, and a second,
Second.
second by Ms. Renner. Any more comments on the minutes? I don't think so. Okay, then, all in favor of approving the amended September 18th minutes?
Aye.
Aye. 4-0. Next. Partner updates. Sam Anderson, you're on.
You can, good morning, committee. Just a couple of things. An update on the CHIPS program. The VEPSI Council will be hearing a proposal from the subcommittee on the nuts and bolts, how this program will work. VEPSI is holding its annual retreat October 22nd in Vermont, and the topic is veggie. So we're looking forward to attending that meeting. We've been invited. We'll attend and be able to give you an update. I would like to point out that the regional priority projects applications are due October 17th. Currently, the town of Essex does not have a project proposed. The city of Essex Junction does have a project on the list. That's a train station. To refresh your memory, a specific discrete project must be proposed by the municipality, and we have a 2-page application process. The reason you'd want to get on our RPP list is because the top 10 projects receive extra points if they move forward and apply for an NBRC federal grant. That's Northern Borders Regional Grant Program. We were lucky. Chittenden County received an award from NBRC this past spring. There are 2 times a year we update our RPP list. One is now in the fall. We submitted. It goes to the state publishes it. We also keep the list on our website. The list, the state requires only the top 10 projects. Our list on our website includes approximately 5 to 6 additional projects that didn't make the top 10, but that GBIC and the Regional Planning Commission, who compose the committee that decides who's on the list and in what order, we still feel they were very valuable and worthwhile projects. Then again, we put out notice that there's a spring round. All projects have to update their submissions. They can't say, well, I sent it to you last spring. Every project has to be updated. Specifically, we look for a discrete project with an acceptable timeline. It can't be we think we want to do this. It has to be we are doing this. A budget that demonstrates most of the funds have been secured, and that it has an economic development impact in retaining or increasing jobs. Any questions on that list?
Yeah, the question I have is, does the town have anything in the works?
No, I checked with Erin, we've got things that will go on the spring, but not now.
That's the only question I had so far.
I'd like to point out you're gonna have a vacant property when Twincraft completes its relocation to Williston. This is an important thing for this committee to keep their eye on. You want to always be aware, and Jean will disseminate to you information regarding properties. This is a big deal because it's property taxes, employees that are leaving that have what we call secondary impacts. They access the services and programs within the town. So you want to keep close eye. GBIC is keeping a close eye on that. And we'll look for any entity that's interested in that size property. Finally, I've told you about the RPP. There's a small business webinar being put on by the Vermont Law School and CVOEO. It's hosting one webinar tomorrow, which is a little short notice, but also on Thursday, October 16th, from 10 to 12, and it's on business entity registration and business plan writing. It's critical that we help businesses move from, boy, have I got a great idea, to actually consolidating it into a business plan. We encourage you to, if you hear of anything on the street, you call Jean immediately. Jean will know who to refer them to. In many cases, it's the SBDC, Small Business Development Center. And then, of course, on the 17th, the Agency of Natural Resources is inviting all municipal officials and volunteers to participate in a day-long event, Municipal Day event, being held at National Life in Montpelier. That's on a Friday. And the keynote speaker is going to be Sarah Waring from NBRC. And that's my report to you today.
questions for Sam? Ms. Miller?
Forgive me, I have allergies. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ann.
You have a question?
Yes, Sam, thank you for that update. It was very interesting. I was just looking on the website to see the list. You said that on your website, the list of like the top 10 to 15, like the top 10 were, I'm not sure where that list is. I was looking and I don't see it.
Under the resources tab. And then the first paragraph says RPP, Regional Project Priorities, and then you click. The top 10 get extra points, with the project placing first gets up to 10 points. The project placing second gets up to 9. This is allocated by NBRC, not us. 8, 7, 6, and so on, till the 10th project can earn up to 1 extra point.
I have a question for either Ann or Jean. I'd like to learn a little bit more about the Twin Craft building. I would like to know who the current owner is and the size and how it's currently configured. Who knows that?
Pardon me, I didn't get the question.
The Twin Craft building that's going to be vacated. I want to know 3 things. Who's the owner? What is the size of it? And how is it currently configured?
Right, we're waiting for what we commonly refer to as a tear sheet, which gives all that information. So we're waiting for that tear sheet. The owner will decide if they're going to leverage a licensed real estate commercial broker. We'll let you know as soon as we get that, Ken.
Yeah, I can't figure out the owner quickly, easily enough from the grand list, but how about the size? Not even the size? We don't know that even?
Of course, you can contact the town offices for who the ownership is. Okay, I'm working on the website question. Have you found it yet?
I'm sorry, what is it, Sam?
She wondered if you found the resource.
Not yet, but I'm looking.
Oh, yeah. Jean,
So while we'll get the tier sheet, which will give us all of the salient information. The key for this, and I send a text to Igor, but anyone in the commission can volunteer. It would be ideal if one person on the commission wants to be the point person on this property. What that would mean is contact the listing agent and develop a dialogue. So as the listing agent is showing that property, the listing agency can reach out back to us, and I'll do the work on it, or reach out to the liaison, and the liaison will reach out to me, however, and just say, I'm looking at X business that does this kind of manufacturing, and that will have this kind, it will give us as much information of a potential buyer. I can put together effectively an Essex tear sheet saying, if you're a small, advanced manufacturing company that's going to be employing 250 people on whatever information, I can then give them all of the available programs for them through the state or anything we might have in federally, and also if we have anything locally that we could give to the listing agency, who will then give it to the potential buyer, that will say, if you move to, to encourage them to move into Essex, and here are the resources we can offer you from the gate. And then keep that dialogue, that conversation going.
about content?
Gene, I can totally be a total point person on that. This is like my comfort zone of, things.
And
Just get in touch. Just email me, after with all the details. That's all good.
go under services and scroll down. Go under services, scroll down, and under advocacy is regional project prioritization list. Do you see it?
All right, no. All right, so Sam, can you share your screen and just show us? No, I hit the share button so we can see it.
I've seen that, but is the list on there? Sam, or is that the application?
One more. Just a minute.
Sam, you know, in Zoom, you can share your screen, it should show us.
Okay, it's probably.
I'm not able to do
What time frame, do you know when the Smithcraft building will be vacated?
No.
But not vacated yet, right?
Sam might
Yeah,
know.
it's all happening fast.
So soon.
They're effectively, where the move, what happened was Keurig, we gained 200 employees in the Keurig facility. And Twin Craft is moving their folks into the Keurig facility in Wilson.
Okay, so Sam, I did find a website page called Regional Project Prioritization
it.
List.
It's also on the state, but it's only the top 10.
It's on the state's website, is that what you're saying?
Yes, under the Agency of Commerce and Community Development.
Looking at the wrong place, then I will look later when we're not in the meeting. Thank you for following up.
Forgive me for not being, we just had our website updated. And I apologize. I haven't danced around the website.
Any other questions for Sam on the partner updates? Igor, anything? No, I guess not. Okay then, Sam, thank you very much.
I'm all good. Thank you, Sam.
Okay,
I'll be in touch. Like, I'm more of like an email person than like this thing. If I have questions, I'll ask Gene. And, you know, if we need more information, we'll contact you together. So thank you very much.
okay.
All right then. Next item on the agenda is business item 6A. A discussion and possible provision of feedback to the select board on the draft handbook for board committees, commission members, and their staff representatives. So I wonder how we should best do this, if there's specific things that we want to transmit to the select board. I can make a list. We can make sure that we all agree and submit them as a committee. Everybody is, of course, able to submit their thoughts directly as individuals, members of the committee, but not as a committee. So this is the opportunity. Does anybody have had time to look it over, and do you have any concerns about it that we want to propose transmitting to the select board as a unit? And
So as you know, Ken, I have made my comments known at the select board meeting. And I don't really believe that that feedback has been incorporated into the draft, with the exception of some of the more obvious problems that were pointed out. So I think the obvious ones have been corrected, but I think the issues about who sets the agenda, and the duration of our meetings, and all of kind of the operational aspects of committees, it's very clear. I mean, we're all very busy people, staff are also busy, and I think that the way it's set out in the select board and the way in the draft that I last saw, it seems to be that there's too much being asked of staff in that document. Also, the signature line makes reference to like volunteers assenting to the handbook, but we don't ask our staff to assent to it. And I think that's also just an asymmetry that's not helpful.
are you proposing to transmit concerns about who sets the agenda and the duration of meetings and the lack of a staff signature as a committee? The select board.
I personally think if the committee agrees to those things, it would be beneficial to have a committee perspective rather than an individual perspective, but I didn't bring my printout. Can I look at yours?
I have on my iPad, paper, makes it better. We can be very specific, we can be general like this, you can propose anything you want, this is your opportunity to do that. Currently, I have you generally saying that we have, you're proposing that we say, as a committee, that we have concerns about who sets the agenda, the duration of the meeting, and the lack of a staff signature.
Yeah.
Those are fine enough, I think, we could transmit those as is. If somebody would make that motion.
Do we wanna have any further, is it, am I out of order to say like, I just offered up my top of my
We
head?
can start there, then amend it and add more to it, or do a separate motion afterwards, it doesn't really matter, whichever way you wanna go. Is there enough, do you feel like that's sufficient enough, you wanna move that? Who sets the agenda, concerns about who sets the agenda? Who decides the duration of the meetings? And the signature is, section is missing a staff acknowledgement.
Yes, I move that we make a committee recommendation on the, new
Concerns
agenda.
about who sets the agenda, the duration of the meeting, and the lack of a signature sign off for staff. A second, please, if there is one. Second, by Ms. Renner, so we have a motion by Ms. Miller, a second by Ms. Renner, we are now in discussion mode. Keep in mind that this motion can be tabled, it can be amended. I will assume all offers of amendments are friendly unless the motioner says it's not. Just to keep things going along. Any other points of consideration? I mean,
All right, so maybe this would be a friendly amendment. I said this to the planning commission the other night because, at the planning commission meeting on September 11th, which was the prior one, the audience was rambunctious enough that the chair lost control of the meeting. So I would add that we need to have some, instructions for the chairs and vice chairs, whether it's a separate appendix or whether it's worked into the text about de-escalation techniques. Perhaps sample scripts for chairs and vice chairs. I always found that helpful when I was chairing boards. Maybe an overview or summary of typical Roberts rules and how those are used. Because I don't think there's enough in here for it to really be a handbook, so that a chair or vice chair could pick it up and use it, take it into a meeting and start fresh.
so before you offer that as an amendment, there is a document that talks about how to run a meeting, it's a separate document. Which talked about how, for example, the chairman is only one allowed to interrupt.
Where is it?
Somewhere on the town
Is it one of the
website.
appendices?
It's referenced somewhere. I mean, we can certainly add it, and if it's redundant. It's redundant. Let's see if I can find it. Okay, on the town website, I'm going to search for. My town website. You got no internet connection.
Keep this.
Are you aware of this document? Jean,
Yeah, I didn't want to interrupt it. I know it's there.
I know it is too.
Why don't I volunteer to find it and then email it to everybody and then after the meeting, because I don't know where it is now, but I don't know if I can do it with you, but I'm sure I can find it and get it out to everybody. Because there was a big discussion about onboarding and training.
I'm almost there, let me see. I think I can get it. I think I'm on. Go. You found it?
No, I'm trying to find the, actually, the date for the select board.
All right, so I'm on the town website now. And I'm going to search for. It's under policies, I'm almost positive. Operational policies, I think that might be it. That's for the police department. No. Communication policy, conservation affairs, facility use policy, fund policy, purchasing rules, regulations, orderly conduct of business. I believe that's it. Yes. The document is called the Rules and Regulations for Orderly Conduct of Business. And does it address Irene's concern, or do we need to add that? Talks about public hearings, shall be warned, and informational meetings, talks about agendas, talks about absences, conduct of a meeting. The meeting shall be called to order by the chair, we shall proceed through the agenda as presented. All participants shall address the chair. People wishing to speak shall seek recognition from the chair. If necessary to interrupt, a select board member or manager should seek permission from the chair to interrupt. So I think a lot of your concerns are in here, we just don't know about it.
I don't hear anything about de-escalating when the crowd riots and yells.
Okay,
Let her speak.
side conversation, only the chair may at appropriate times call for a vote. The chair should assure the person, the chair alter the rotation of comments, board members and all other participants shall welcome a variety of opinions. Members of the body shall not post or use post to social media or respond to emails. There's a section on motions and votes. But no, nothing about de-escalation. So that seems worthy to add that different.
So yeah, I guess I would, instead of making a friendly amendment to Ann's amendment, I would make a separate one. So
Okay.
let's finish Ann's amendment.
So we have
Ann's motion.
concerns about who has the agenda, concerns about who sets the duration of the meeting, concerns about a lack of staff sign off on the signature page, and missing instructions for de-escalating raucous meetings.
You're saying that doesn't belong in this document?
I'm not. I'm asking you if that's what you like to amend.
No, I'm going to make a separate motion about the orderly conduct business document that we just discovered on.
Fair enough. Got it. That is where it belongs. I think.
So Ann's motion is as she made it,
Got it.
and as I seconded it.
So that, Ken?
You may. You are recognized.
I wonder if my comments should be worded more specifically, just rather than expressing concern,
Totally up to you.
be specific about what we think it should
I
say.
didn't want to put words into your mouth, but if the more specific we can be, I think. the better.
So I just want to say that, where it says here on bullet point 2, staff represent, I see this as a collaborative process, it's not like, committee members versus staff, but like staff are responsible for creating agendas and board members are encouraged to suggest items. Well, I think like the committee chair should be responsible for creating the agenda, working with staff representatives, right? So I would like flip that around personally, that's bullet point number 2 on page 8.
That's in a draft, so
Yeah, right.
it's somewhere in there, maybe to add.
So, what was the second comment that I made? Ken?
Of duration.
Duration, I don't think, is there anything in here? I just know that, I was in a meeting the other day where it was like 2 hours had elapsed, and the item that I had gone to attend as a member of the public, that like, I moved to adjourn, and I'm like, wait, I've been sitting here for like 2 hours to get the item C, and they just adjourned the meeting, and I was like, what is that about? Like, I don't know, sometimes I go to meetings that really drag on and I don't like it, but that's just part of the process, so I don't know where, is it in here, Ken, anywhere that says?
The duration?
Yeah.
Yes, it is in here. Let me just make sure I get this first one correct. I mean, in fact, I just want to try to do this one at a time, it'll be easier, I think.
Yeah.
So, section. Policy, stuff, represent duty. Absence, general guidelines, that's number 7. General agenda, so it's 7B.
You know, the thing, what, go ahead.
7B. On. Your motion is to change the wording where it says staff representative may work with the board chair. That's the part. You can show the agenda.
Yeah, I mean, the old version said staff, created, so,
Well, this is, I'm looking at the most recent one, it
Yeah.
now says, the staff representative may work with board chair. They've changed it to may work with the board chair on which items to include on the agenda. This rule shall not apply to all business, blah, blah, blah. Are you happy with that then? You don't have to worry about it?
may work with,
That's optional.
it would be like
Okay.
shall, if anything.
Yes.
So item number one, the primary goal here is to say that board chair people are responsible for the agenda with the support of staff.
Yes, and the thing is, in the old document here, it says that board and staff are expected to work together to develop, so it's like that, like, it's a working. Okay.
Okay?
Well, one of the challenges with staff and agendas, and I don't know how you address it in this, is there are deadlines for publication. And in prior iterations of prior commissions, not just this commission, but other commissions, there has been a challenge of getting the chair to get with the staff in the appropriate time period, so we get this thing published. So, I think that if you put in shall, it requires everyone to participate. May is iffy.
The wording that I've got is that board chair are responsible for its agendas with the support of staff.
That's what I would suggest.
Okay, we have one recommendation so far. So this would be section 7(1). Section 7(b)(1), agenda. Board chairs are responsible for its agenda with the support of staff. All right, it goes on to address or determine the duration. It talks about items being submitted by the public and by other members of the board. And it says that the staff representative may work with the board chair on which items to include on the agenda. This rule, that's already taken care of by who's responsible, I suppose. This rule shall not apply to all business. Board members may contact staff. And then the staff representative will review and clarify any item of concern prior to the posting of the agenda on the town website. Board members may contact staff to present that items. There's some declaration here. Maybe this is it.
I mean,
Yes,
I
here it is. Each board and its staff representative shall have discretion as to when an agenda is published, provided the publication, that's not the same thing. There's something about this. Maybe it's gone now.
well, if it's silent on it, that might be.
Where was it? In fact, I can search for the word duration.
I mean, the thing is like for the planning commission meeting, there were a lot of people who came to the public to be heard, right? Which is their right, right? And so as a result, like the agenda items got shuffled very late in the day. So at least I guess it should have said like, we'll table the additional agenda items to the next meeting, but that wasn't even, all of a sudden they just adjourned.
Right, they could have said that at 7 o'clock.
I think I found it. Okay, search that. All right, so it is under the staff representative responsibilities. Ensuring that minutes are posted with session. Ensuring that agendas are published and posted. May work with the board chair, the board chair, shall work with you. Any comments? Yes. So it's under section 6, which is kind of confusing how everything's in different areas, not very well consolidated. Section 6, A, bullet point 2. Currently reads, staff responsibility is ensuring that agendas are published, they work with the board chairs to create agendas. Again, the responsibility problem there as well. Board chairs and staff representatives should work together to determine if the items on the agenda can be accomplished in a reasonable amount of time, given consideration of the time of all involved, volunteer members and staff.
Okay,
Covered?
I think so.
Cool. All right, we only have one thing so far. The third thing was, now the second thing is the sign off page.
And the other thing is that I don't know if can I speak? I don't want to like.
You're recognized.
Okay. So as someone who ran a
Thank you for asking.
volunteer organization, we had a handbook. And it was like the rules that we wanted to, the values that we hold and how we want to operate. And like, no, I can't go speak to the press just randomly, but it had those kinds of rules in it. And we asked all volunteers, because we were an all volunteer group, to sign the handbook. But
What was it acknowledging when you signed?
when you signed it, that these were the rule, like that I acknowledge that I'm not gonna speak to the press. But for the most part, it was about values, it was about keeping data confidential. Because that was like, wasn't exactly, we had intellectual property that we developed, and so we wanted to keep that information confidential. So, I just was thinking about the way that particular statement was worded, whether or not it's the wording, like,
It's read and by.
yeah. So, and there's staff, so I think it needs to be, so it has staff, doesn't have the, under staff, so it's been has it been revised to include staff?
This is the current version.
Town of Essex, I acknowledge that I have received, read the town handbook.
Yes, as a town of Essex board,
Yeah.
committee, or commission member, I
I
acknowledge that I have read this is the title, Town of Essex
Essex
handbook
handbook.
for boards, committees, and commission
All right,
members
I see.
and their staff. So it's not the
Right,
staff acknowledging.
yeah,
it's just
it
the
should be,
title.
everyone should be acknowledging, because at the meeting, they were very clear that these staff responsibilities, that they needed this because these, even though staff had separate job description, that they needed this for the staff to know their responsibilities, and if that's the case, then the staff should be also assenting to this document. We're all one team. So just everybody sign it.
Okay, so that's item number 2, so currently the motion has those 2 items,
I'll still second it.
thank you. I have a concern about the policy that says all meetings are hybrid. Even only advisory ones like us. And as you know, and it says that if you're gonna not be hybrid, you have to get permission from the staff, not from our staff representative, but from our vice, what does she call it, second? The assistant town manager, thank you, town manager, or assistant town manager. I'm thinking that means that because to post for a meeting, you have to have access to the website. And to have a meeting, because it has to be hybrid, you have to have access to the physical space. And you have to have the ability to run the meeting with whatever technology is currently advised. I think whether or not a meeting for an advisory board is hybrid or not, should be up to the committee. For example, we are holding a non-hybrid meeting once a month now. I guess we have permission.
Yeah.
No, you do. So I don't know that it would be appropriate for the staff to give that permission, considering that we report to the select board. I think that permission, if required at all, should be from the select board. So I would offer that as an amendment, that whether or not a meeting has to be hybrid is something that the committee should decide with the permission of the select board.
That does add a delay.
Of course. So there's the current scenario.
Just
So,
like that.
I think it's a significant thing to decide you're not gonna be hired, it's just not a trivial matter, it's a public access thing, so I'm not concerned at all about that. And I like it better that the select board is involved in the process. That way, it's an elected official making the decision rather than an employed person. So that would be my offer, Ms. Miller, if you will accept that as a friendly amendment.
I accept that as a friendly amendment.
Okay, so we have a third item. Any other items? Igor, I don't hear anything from you.
I'm gonna chat to these
What does that say?
What's he saying?
Just texted you guys in the chat. I got a jet. Read the chat. Love you all. Bye.
Bye. Go.
Igor's leaving us, what time is it?
It's 11:56.
11:56. Igor, leave the meeting.
He has a client who needs help.
No
We're
problem.
not fighting.
We spoke
Don't
for our
fight,
voted.
is that what he says? Don't fight. We're not fighting. We're discussing.
The chair is responsible.
Okay. I really like.
Someone buys that.
Much time on this handbook, sorry. All these various meetings, and a lot of discussion.
Hybrid, one decide by committee. And.
No, it's one of
All right, we have a motion, 3 items. We would propose to send to the select board the following recommendations. Change who is responsible for the agenda to the chairperson with support of staff. The signature page should have an acknowledgement that staff has read. I'll offer an amendment. Amendment cut to the chase. Right now it says read and agree to
Abide
abide
by,
by.
yeah,
Oh, just kill the abide by.
right,
Say read,
yes.
end of story.
Sure.
Then staff doesn't have to get moved.
That's fine.
Oh, that's true, that would be simpler that way.
That's what I'm offering. If you'll accept.
I accept.
I accept, but if they're not going to change that, then they need to have staff sign it, right? I mean, I don't want them to ignore one of our changes,
Right.
So you want to give it an or, huh?
yeah, I want to give it more.
Or read only. Okay.
So
So that is the amended agenda now, that the signature page should have an acknowledgement that staff will abide by and read it, or just read.
can I make a friendly amendment that, the orderly conduct of business become an appendix of this? Because if someone thinks the handbook is all they need to know, they don't know what they're missing.
Okay, with the fourth item.
And maybe it would eliminate some redundancies of both documents if they were,
I think that's a very good idea,
it feels like this was done in the back end. Maybe,
well, it's been around a few times already.
I mean, it doesn't reference the orderly conduct of business document in the handbook, and it should.
I agree, so
I
that's,
accept our
so
needs.
now we have that as an amendment to the motion to add that as an addendum. So we have a motion with 4 recommendations that we will vote on to send to the select board. And if I read the handbook correctly, it says that you will facilitate that communication.
To the select board. Yes, I have something to add, not that, it's not,
Relevant to the motion?
it's relevant to the it's not, it's relevant to the issue, not the motion. Can I, let me just,
Yeah, we're discussing the motion. Go for it.
Let's see what you got.
well, apropos communicating this to the select board. The select board also would like, and they're adamant about this, they'd like us to book a time with them where where the EDC will present their work plan and generally give them an update as to what's going on. They've given us dates of, October 6th.
That's item C on the agenda.
What?
That's item, no, that's not item C. That's item B on the agenda.
Right, I'm just, oh, wait,
It's under the guns.
yeah, we'll get to that, you're right.
No worries. Okay, thank you
All
very
right,
much.
so
for that.
given the current state of the motion, would it be appropriate, since I've mentioned the orderly conduct of business document, that I make my changes?
No, I think that you should make that, as you suggest, because those are good ideas. It's a totally discrete thing, and I think that your ideas are germane to that.
Okay,
But it should still be as an amendment, I think that's good,
thanks.
For Gene's benefit,
And we'll have to record it.
have the recording, I'm gonna restate it.
Oh, good.
So we have a motion, the motion is to make 4 recommendations on the handbook to the select board. Recommendation number 1 is that the agenda should be stated as the responsibility of the chairperson with the support of staff.
Yeah.
Item number 2 is that the signature page should be changed to include a signature from staff representative or change it from read and abide by to just read. Then no staff signature is required. The 4th recommendation is that whether or not a meeting of an advisory board will be hybrid, should be a decision made by the board with the approval of the select board. And the 4th recommendation is to include the orderly conduct of business as an addendum to this handbook. That is the motion. Any more discussion? Then I will ask for a vote. All in favor of making those 4 recommendations to the select board, ready to say aye?
I,
Aye. That will be a 3-0. And just to remind everybody, we are now out of quorum. That means all votes must be unanimous to pass. Moving right along.
Well, can I make a motion to
right,
change the orderly conduct of business document?
That will be a change to the agenda. It's either next time or you can propose that we change the agenda.
We have a few more days before the select board needs our input, don't we, or do we?
I think the orderly conduct of business can be, I don't think that's urgent in any way, shape, or form. So let's formulate exactly what changes you would want, maybe get a reference from some tool online that.
Yeah, then I can look at it.
Yeah, I think that would be good.
Okay.
That document is actually surprisingly good. I was pleased when I read it, because it's exactly what I've been trying to do, it's kind of nice to hear that it's. I'm on board. All right, item B, so a discussion. Select board's invitation to all boards and committees, and let's pick a date. Invite us.
Well, our dates available are October 6th, the 20th, November 3rd, or November 17th. I strongly recommend you vote November 17th. Or primarily because we had such a delay in getting our draft and our final report on our economic development study, which will then basically dictate your work plan for the year. Should you choose to accept the study, then it's gonna be prescriptive in terms of what you should be doing. So I think if we can push this out as far as possible, that would give us a better chance.
All right, in that case, I will move that we go with a November 17th date to submit a presentation to the select board, and by then we'll hopefully have a new chairperson and we'll be good to go. A second, please.
I second.
Any more discussion about it? In that case, all in favor of moving that we accept our invitation to the select board for November 17th.
It's about preparation. Never mind, I'll get it in a later point.
All right, motion is November 17th, it's perfect. And I'll say yes, everybody agree?
I,
Aye, 3-0.
I have a question.
On this,
No,
next item,
let's see.
see, that's where we are next. It was canceled, and crossed off the agenda, but
Has the commission, the EDC, received a draft version of the report from the?
No,
this would have been that.
I see.
that's the challenge, it's really, the consultant is delayed, and
Yes.
I said in a prior meeting that I think they've done some personnel changes, I know. And our consultant is very, very busy, and unfortunately now her father's in the hospital, so that hopefully we'll get this done very fast and be able to see it. That's why I suggested pushing this as far as to
It's
the
fine.
meeting.
It's November 17th.
Just
And apropos of this, I was talking to a member of South Burlington Economic Development Commission. They have officially accepted their economic development study. Would it be helpful to the committee? I'll reach out to South Burlington and I can send you all that study. So we are not looking at our draft right now, but I think it would be very helpful. South Burlington is very excited about the study. They're consulting the entire process. So this is a study that they're all rapidly embracing. And I thought it would be good, in the meantime, we're waiting for our draft, to take a look at what our neighbor is doing. Maybe there's some good ideas they've got that we'd like to put in our
Let me
draft.
interrupt you. I appreciate all that information and, it'd be great to have it, no question about it, this is no longer on our agenda. So we need to move on to the next thing.
Okay, but is that a yes? I'll send it out to you. All the-
Yeah, let you already have.
Absolutely, perfect, got it, thanks.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, you're recognized.
I just wanted Jean to know I've just sent her in a text the link for Anne to see our project priorities list. I've been playing with it going in the way the public does. Can't get it, but I can get the link. So, and I'll have to figure out with our web designer why I can get the link, you can't, but Jean has it right now for you to
Thanks.
look.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. All right, we're on to the next
Sorry.
item. Your pardon. A discussion of state designation programs or program, I think this is referring to our town center thing, and how it can be utilized in Essex. And we have a presentation by Ms. Sonic according to the agenda, and I do believe I see her, yep.
Yeah, and I have an introduction.
Okay, stand by, Catherine, Jean.
So I wanted to introduce, the reason I put this on is the state, as you'll hear, the state designation program is the source of all, basically the source of all funds for economic development and community development. We go through this process and when Essex and when the town of Essex and the junction split, the junction had all of the designations. Thanks to Catherine's hard work, we now have one designation, a village designation, and they have, and in the interim, the state has revised its program, and so this is the program that will be the key to all money for economic development that we want.
So the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
That will be good.
All right, Catherine, you're on.
All right, thank you. Thanks for having me. So in your packet, I don't know if you had a chance to look at it, but there was a document that was included for this agenda item, and it's titled New State Designation for Community Investment. I found that to be extremely valuable. That's just a good resource to have on hand going forward. So it really summarizes what the state designation program is, and also the benefits of it that that we would be eligible for. With that in mind, though, or since I'm here to explain it, I'll go through it in a little bit more detail than that. There's been a state designation program for a long time. So hold on a second. I'm looking.
If you want to share it, you can do that. I've had it on my iPad, Ann and I are looking at it, but the phone
Okay.
might like.
Yeah, if I could share my screen, that would be, okay, I have to request.
There you go.
You are allowed.
Okay.
Well, hold on one second, Catherine. We have another side person. You're
Brittany, right behind us.
that's Brittany. I've only known her by name. Oh, I think I met you once.
Was that the same person
So-
who did this?
No, that's him.
No, that's Tammy Getson, she's the communications director.
So whoever ends up doing these minutes might want to acknowledge that we have Brittany also.
Yeah.
All right, Catherine, go.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a little, but
So the state program designation program that's been around for a long time has 5 existing state designations. So Village Center, Downtown Center, Newtown Center, growth center and neighborhood development area. The
you
new
make-
program simplifies, if you see this, I don't know, what would you call this? Like an olive, but it's the wrong color, but the center designation and the neighborhood designation. So instead of 5, we just have 2.
Can you zoom in a little?
Sure.
Outstanding. It's better.
Okay,
You know-
sorry, it's very slow here and somehow it's
It takes
gone
time.
blank. It's gone blank on my screen. So
Let me refresh, give it a moment.
so I can just keep talking though. I think it's fine.
Yeah, you see everything on the iPad, it'll come up eventually.
Okay. So the new program has the center in the neighborhood. So we get rid of all these other designations, and we fall under these 2. Part of the changes in the program. Now, can you see this map?
Yes.
Okay. Is based on the future land use map that was developed by the Regional Planning Commission. And each town in Chittenden County has a map that looks like this. And has the same colors, but it depends on your kind of our existing uses that we have. So going forward, to be eligible for a center designation, any legacy designation that a town would have would be automatically considered a center tier 2 or intermediate center, I think they call it. So our historic Essex Center was designated last year. So we have the eligibility for the center tier 2 benefits. So going forward, when this land use map is adopted in the ECOS plan of the Regional Planning Commission, anything that is this color purple or this pink, and that includes area over by 40th and Allen, would be considered center areas. So it's not something that we have to apply for or even opt into. It just automatically happens. Anything that is in this pink, which is considered a planned growth area, which is really our sewer core, is considered a neighborhood area. Again, we don't have to opt into that. It just is. So this makes it a lot easier for us to have the benefits really of the program. Okay. So this is not popping up at all.
Sorry about that.
There you
So
go.
let me just stop sharing.
We're good. Yeah, that's helpful.
So if you have a chance to look at the document in your packet,
Sure.
you'll see that there's a list of requirements that you need to have the different steps in the center. And then the next page has the benefits for the center. And I think that's probably the most important one to look at. So going forward, when the future land use map is adopted again by the Regional Planning Commission, Essex Center, Historic Essex Center starts at step 2 for the center benefits. So we'll receive more than the Susie Wilson Road area and our town center area, as that will be at a step 1. So if we want to apply for step 2 or step 3, we can. There will be some steps you have to go through in order to get elevated to the next step. So the benefits, range from some tax assistant to permit fee reduction. I thought this was an interesting one: authority to lower speed limit to 25 miles an hour or under. Authority to create a special taxing district.
You've seen that.
A bunch of other things. What's
I'm
that?
sorry. I found it.
Yeah.
What? I'm sorry.
I found it.
We weren't on the
It was
same
the next
page.
page.
We weren't on the same page, Catherine, but we're all aligned now, so.
Okay. So then the neighborhood designation has a different list of benefits. And so it's smaller or fewer benefits, but there still are benefits. And in the neighborhood designation, there's not the steps like there is for the center. There's just one designation. You don't have to apply to get to a different step to get more benefits. So, in my mind, thinking about, especially, in our growth areas, so, the Fort Ethan Allen area, our new town center, and then in Historic Essex Center, the more benefits that we can get from this designation program, the better. So I think it would be probably worth looking into trying to get into step 2 and step 3, although Essex Center already is and will already be in step 2. So yeah, so that's kind of a high level summary of it. And it's interesting, when this legislation was passed, there really wasn't a lot of detail in it. And I see that this document that I provided to you was just updated last month. So they're continuing to flush out more and more details as this goes along. It's kind of, this is almost hot off the presses for you.
Thank you. Now we'll do questions, and remember, we don't want opinions at this point, or you make a motion, and then we can have a discussion if you want. Remember now, also, we are at 12:17, and I want to remind members of the board that you can make a motion to adjourn at any time. Questions? Anne?
I have a question for Catherine.
Yes, that's what I expect.
Catherine, could you just clarify the Historic Essex Center, that's now a step 1 designation, is that right?
Well, they would call this in this document a legacy designation for a village center. And so it has similar benefits that it has now, but they're not as many actually as what we will have when we get this step 2 designation. So once this future land use map, which is in the ECOS regional plan, is adopted, which they're thinking it's next summer, we would automatically go to this step 2 for Historic Essex Center.
So are we step 1 now?
It's a different program now.
I see. So
So we do have benefits, but it's a lot smaller. So we have tax credits, we have priority for municipal and other state grants. I believe we can do some special taxing there.
So I think what I'm hearing is that because we have a historic designation, we're gonna be bypassing step 1 and go and apply for steps.
Yep. But will automatically be step 2. If we want to apply for step 3, that would be the next in the process for that center. For our downtown center, which is the ETC next, the more dense area, that's where we would be entering in at step 1, and we could apply for step 2 and step 3, as well as the Fort Ethan Allen area. Or no, I'm sorry, Fort Ethan Allen, Susie Wilson Road area.
So right now we have a legacy designation.
Right.
Got it. Not one of these steps yet.
Correct.
And we are in the process of gaining step 1. I'm asking.
Well,
No.
so once this land use map is adopted, it will just be automatically step 1
Got it.
for the ETC next, the Essex Town Center area and the Susie Wilson Road area.
And
So we don't
what
have
is
to
it?
apply.
And what is the status of the land use map?
I'm sorry, what?
What is the status of the land use? So once it's accepted, so I assume it's.
So the Regional Planning Commission has a countywide plan called the ECOS plan. And it's sort of like our town plan, but it's for the whole county. So they have one. They're in the process of updating that, and it will include this map. actually, it's a map of a county, so it'll, have every town on it. And once that is, the plan is adopted, then this map will go into effect and the designations then will go into effect. And from what I understand is they're looking at next summer for that adoption. They're just, starting the final process now of wrapping up the draft.
Any other questions? Catherine? Jean, anything you want to offer? Thank you very much for that, Catherine.
You're welcome.
Thanks a lot.
Yep, have a great day.
You too.
Okay, next item up, information on the Colchester mapping software and format for gathering business information. I don't remember how to start on the agenda, but it's okay.
I added.
Excellent. So who would like to lead the charge on this agenda item?
Unfortunately, we've not heard back from Kathy O'Reilly, which was disappointing, but, she's very busy, I'll get over. Kathy is the Economic Development Coordinator for, the Colchester. What I would suggest we do is, I will get a physical map to you folks. You can't, but there's no website. I can get it, actually, I think maybe the best thing would be better is why don't I scan in the map, if I can, and try to email it to you so you guys really can look at it, but I'll make sure you have a physical copy of this map that Colchester does. Kathy has offered to work with someone on the commission to literally, she's got the copyright, she's got the designer, she's got the printer, she's got the distribution and everything, so she is plug and play, so that we can create a map for the town of Essex. It would be good to take a real look at that map and say, is this what we want? There, when you look at the Colchester map, what you're gonna look at is Mount Bay and a lot of information around recreation, because that's their forte. You may want to rethink that before we design it, so I thought I would just get to you guys. I'll find a way of getting it to you electronically so you really can look at it.
So you want to carry it over to the next agenda?
Yeah. And then by that time, hopefully we'll hear from Kathy. The question is, does someone want to take?
I'm willing to take point on this.
Yay! So, Ann, I'll contact with you during this time, and we'll get this up and running.
And you could write an electronic introduction between myself and Riley, then we can just try to, get this ball moving, that's all.
Any other questions? Yes, Eileen?
So I was at Phoenix Books the other day, and a map of the local municipality is in their foyer for the taking. It's the kind of map we're talking about. And Essex Center is off on the corner with a number of designations already. So it's not like we're not on a map, just not all of us is not on a map. So I would be very willing to pick up 5 copies of that or whatever we need so that we can actually look at it and talk about it at our next indoor meeting.
Sounds good.
All right, we'll be on the next agenda anyway. Great, bringing that as well. Any other questions about the information on Colchester mapping software and format? So I have a question, so Colchester is going to help us, they're using some software, it sounds like, and they're showing it to us what they're
She's
doing.
gonna literally run it, she said, we can. She's got the right, she's got all the people, she does this every couple of years, she'll just give us all that information.
My question is what going to happen, that they're going to show us the mapping software that they're using and suggest that
They don't have a software, she's got a copywriter and an artist.
why does it say Colchester mapping software?
Because it's a playbook.
Okay, then that explains. Okay, great.
Sorry,
No other questions then.
I get it, yeah.
That's why everyone with
Yeah.
software.
Yeah.
Being a software person, I think show me to be. All right, next item on the agenda is a discussion of the EDC's interaction with the Planning Commission and Development Review Board. Now, this is something that I believe I got on the agenda from our last meeting. If you remember, we actually made a motion at our last meeting that applications be included on our agenda, just like they are for Conservation and Trust Committee. That's what this is, and I was hoping to just see the list, but apparently it's listed as a discussion. I did not produce this agenda. So, questions? Gene.
So this really is staff oriented, it comes from Catherine and Craig, and generally. Here, I was trying to fashion over during community day, I had a long, great conversation with Hubie from the Development Review Board and Irene. about, you know, what are the questions that the EDC wants to look at with these applications, you know, where are we exploring it? Trail, Conservation Trails has its area of purview. What's the ED, how do we define EDCs? And then Kent, our planner, came up with a good question, which which really encapsulates all of my challenge with this. So here's your hypothetical situation. I go to the DRB site and I see an application for a storage facility from an out-of-state company on open land, on
Prime
not, what is it?
Somewhere,
Unbuilt land, what, because it's a better.
undeveloped,
Undeveloped.
thank you.
if you're subject to redevelopment, it's developed as forest or maybe it's just a field that.
Yeah, it's a good, so basically, they apply to put in a storage facility, they're out of state. The public will not be allowed in the storage facility, and the out-of-state company will use the storage facility to sell will go, and it'll have no benefit to anybody in town. And it is an area that the EDC thinks really should be more active retail or an office space or housing or something. But everything they've applied for passes. So it goes to the DRB, they've got no choice but to accept it. The planning commission, and this basically, I'm quoting Catherine to an extent. If you go to the planning commission with this and say, here's what you've set up. You've set up a situation so this wonderful land that could be used for something that would really benefit us.
Let me interrupt. It is my privilege to interrupt as the chairperson, because you're going off track a little bit. The idea here, so when I actually asked for this, was to simply give the Economic Development Commission an opportunity to be aware of what applications are in and do what it says in our mission statement, which is to advise.
So who are you advising, Mr. Chair? That's the question.
Either board.
Either, I think, does anybody got the mission statement by chance? Does it say both? Let's find out. Just take a moment to get the, here we are. Yeah, I want to try to. As we can.
That's in G, 6G is our mission statement, but yes, it says town committees and commissions, it's very broad.
Broad as well.
It's relevant.
I just answered that question, is it could be both, but the advice would be, for the planning commission, it would not be relevant to an application specifically, because the planning commission makes zoning regulations, it doesn't approve applications. The DRB approves applications, so I suppose that advising the planning commissions are totally separate things.
If you have an application that we get that conforms to the rules,
They have to approve
the
it.
DRB will approve it, and whatever comments you do or do not make to the DRB, it's not in their purview. However, the argument that I'm making here is, I think it's a great idea you're doing it, I think it's absolutely a wonderful plan. But to aim it at the planning commission, to say, you make the rules, here are the rules. It's your choice, I'm simply saying,
We should definitely interact with the planning commission, especially now as they're revising
Yeah.
zoning regulations.
Mhm.
Totally agree with that, 100%. That's not what this is. But that's a good point. All I think I would ask at this point is when the agenda, whoever's doing the agenda, just list the link. I mean, there's a link you can put.
Yeah.
For the application, just put the link in there and say what it is, and if the scenario I'm concerned about mostly is not one that conforms. It's one where they're asking for a waiver. Typically, because there, we could have something.
so it's, okay, I'm starting to get this now. Well, first of all, what do you want listed? I mean, you want.
Every application that DRB is going to be.
I know, when you go on, when you go into the application, there's a dialogue, or a narrative part. Would it be helpful if what I do is I can take that narrative, when I post the application, post the narrative?
You are posting the narrative now, right? That's what it is.
No, the narrative,
There's a staff report in there.
when I post the link, to the application, you're gonna get the entire application. What I'm suggesting is you get the link, but I can copy and paste for you so it's quicker. I can give you, what I could do is I can copy and paste the link and then give you that narrative below each link. So then you can decide whether you want to look at it, and then I can also, I understand what you're saying with waiver now. What I can also do is I highlight whether the waiver is being asked.
That would be helpful, no question about it. At this point, since I'm only the tentative temporary chairperson, I'll leave it for you to decide your discretion at this point, what to include. And the new chairperson will fine tune that.
Okay, so I'll do, so the next agenda, you're gonna see a
Bunch of links.
Well, over the time, I'll just send you guys over time, between now and the next agenda, I'll send you a couple of posts of how we do this. So it's plug and play, we just go through the list and get it done, and then we have it done, because this is, we meet effectively once a month. We have applications that come in at different times, so what I'm gonna have is an accumulating list that I'm gonna attach to the agenda, and I'll send you all, and our two absent members, I'll send out some ways that can be done, and everyone can give me a general sense of what works for them, and we can move forward.
And in the short term, for the next agenda, for a regular meeting or non-business outreach meeting, you can just list them with the links for now.
Okay, this was
Keep it simple,
good.
don't make a lot of extra work for now, and then when we look at that, we may take you up on some of those suggestions, which were nice, especially the waivers, obviously. That's the part where we could have some influence potentially. I remember.
I would add the planning commission to that list, because there's plenty of things the planning commission is talking about doing, including the new crew facility, where we had a weigh in. I think it's important that when they're considering doing stuff, we're on it, and we weigh in.
I think that the next agenda, we should specifically produce, and in fact, maybe you prepare something for the next meeting that we could offer to the planning commission as a committee.
I think that it's an ongoing thing, just like with the DRB projects.
But
Because I have no idea what is gonna be
it's
proposed
less
to the planning commission.
discreet.
I wanna know as an EDC member and want that highlighted by my staff.
But it's less discreet. The DRB has discrete applications. The planning commission has this large document of regulations that they're working on, and they made even subcommittees for some of them. Like,
They got a proposal from Al, at least verbally at the last meeting, and they still have the outstanding crew request, which is gonna be revised any minute by the state to say just one site. I want to know that as an EDC member.
so there are
I
two-
don't think we should be limiting ourselves to just DRB stuff, because the planning commission is doing plenty of things.
I agree, so you're being very specific about that, that's great, so you're suggesting that on the next agenda, we add 2 opportunities to advise the planning commission, one on, what was the first thing? There were 2 things you mentioned, the first one was
Al's development.
the use changes for the RPDI.
Right.
Conservation and Trails waiting on this, by the way, no reason why we shouldn't as well.
I'm not trying to be specific here, but I heard you saying that we're only gonna weigh in on DRB stuff, and I'm saying, no, I wanna weigh in on both boards, work lists, because they're both relevant to things that change the patina of Essex.
No, what I was
Yeah.
trying to, what I said was, this agenda item that we have on our agenda today was intended to strictly be talking about the development applications for DRB.
Doesn't say that,
I know,
okay,
that was the intent, however, I read the motion from the last meeting, that's what it was.
okay.
Your suggestion, however, is well taken, it is part of the advisory responsibility that we have, and I think you're talking about 2 specific things that we should advise on.
No, not necessarily, I'm just holding those up as examples of why we shouldn't only look at DRB planning.
Would you like,
DRB, you know,
would you,
applications.
would you like us to advise the planning commission on?
Anything, on anything that comes down the pike, that's why I like the way F is written, I didn't write it, but I like the way it showed up here, and I'd like it to continue to show up that way. That we are looking at applications to the DRB as well as requests, or whatever the term is, of the planning commission, because without oversight of both of those things, I think we can get into big trouble as a town, because we're not casting a wide enough net among the volunteers that are supposed to be looking at this stuff and kind of check and balancing what those 5 or 7 people, depending on the size of the board going forward, are doing.
Now I understand what you're
Okay.
saying, and I will just point out to you that at our last meeting. Oh God, I'm gonna do this real bad.
Is it in minutes?
I'm in the packet, I'm in the minutes. And it says. Sigmund will make a motion to add standing agenda item of development applications. So that's what this was triggered by. And it really was only development applications, so not crazy at least.
Where are you in the minutes?
I'm in the minutes from September third.
2 meetings ago, okay.
Yep, and, business items that we line 63. So that's what I wanted to stay focused on initially. Now, you've introduced a new idea, which I think is a great idea, and we should do it.
So it's just another standing agenda item, to
Yes,
be looking at
yes.
proposals to the planning commission.
So why don't you move that?
I will move that. I will move that we add another standing agenda item to future, because our agendas aren't long enough, our meetings aren't.
Yeah, what that will do is it'll give us an in on the agenda without going crazy in order to offer advice to the planning commission on pending items. That would be useful. Okay, so we have that motion. I'll ask for a second, please. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Thank you.
Aye.
I agree.
So we have a motion to add another standing item. So, and to remind you, Jean, the motion was to add, not to go through another cycle. It was to add the allocation.
I didn't know how to, I didn't know what you wanted.
And
So so that's what opened the discussion about, with staff about, well, what is it? Do I send a full application? Am I giving my narrative of the application, their narrative?
fair enough.
I didn't really know.
So for now, just only for the application, we'll keep it simple. And then if we have some, because you're absolutely right, most of the applications will come in at the handle out.
Right. I'll work with Commissioner Renner about exactly how do I identify and plug the right stuff for planning.
In fact, yes, just as we were read in our handbook, if there are items you wish added to the agenda, send them along to the chair, which is temporarily me. And copy Jean on it as well, so she's aware. And, but for the time being, it'll be generic.
Okay.
Which I think is gonna be great. All right, next item on the agenda. Discussion of the EDC
Mission.
discussion of the EDC mission statement. So, I happen to just be looking at it.
We'll bring them out, so you can mark them off, because I'm tired of looking at little screens.
It could be a little bigger.
Yeah, well, this was the size it was in the packet, I wish it were bigger, but,
This is pretty terse.
well, I just took what we had before and I just cleaned up a little bit.
Oh, this is a proposal.
Yeah, it shouldn't say current, I'm sorry, that's left over from, it was the current and I made some small edits, so it is the proposed, so it should say proposed.
Yeah, that shouldn't say members of the EDC strive to, I think it should be the EDC strive to.
Okay.
You want to, the PRB and the plan commission specifically, or just leave it generic as you have it?
I like keeping it open so we can advise the
Fair enough.
selectmen,
Yeah.
energy committee or whoever's process our comments.
All right, so is it your proposal to, make this our current mission statement?
Well, with any changes that people come up with.
Yes.
I haven't really had a lot of time to look at it, so,
Is that the goal here, or do you just want feedback at this point?
either way.
All right,
I mean, it'd probably good to have Igor and Keith in on it, I can make the change you just suggested and come back with it and put it in the next packet.
Good
Am I
idea.
with that?
all right, so I suggested two changes, get rid of current.
Mhm.
And maybe put at the very top proposed or something like that, maybe say draft or something, you know, this is not the current one.
Exactly.
And, instead of members of, should be easy to strive to.
Okay.
I think it was spelled out in EDC, at least first.
Well, it's in the first line,
Parentheses, right, so
it's in the first line.
insert parentheses at EDC there, so then there and after it's a defined term.
All right,
Let's use it in the title.
and, we can send that along to Jean for inclusion in our next agenda, and we can pass it.
And I'm a question actually for, Ann, but I can do it to everybody. In a couple, one of these agendas, I had literally attended all of our neighboring towns' statements, mission statements for the Economic Development Commission, if they have it. Would it be helpful? I can send that to you.
I mean, that's a
We
question.
already got
I know you've got it, but our new commission doesn't have it, so
I can wait.
I don't wanna fully fill your
She
inbox.
can find it.
But I'll send you a reference.
Sure.
Okay.
And it's all, guess what, folks? Next is our next meeting, so here's the deal. I have a commitment from one person, which is not the greatest choice, but it might be interesting to talk about the timing. Reed Von Gall. It's a gentleman who applied to the, select board for a waiver on his well. Apparently he runs a sort of a business out of his barn. It's a, event space. I happened to be there and talked to him. I said, would you like to host a meeting? He said, yes. I didn't think it was that impactful economically speaking, so I'm thinking about an alternative at this point. And emailed out to an owner of Prolytics. If you don't know who Prolytics is, in the Pinewood Plaza. It's a company that produces bioproducts. And I know people there, my wife used to work there. I'd like to try to get us in there instead. I'm looking for input, any preferences? Every winner.
I have input also in that Pinewood Plaza is the Vermont Genealogy Center Library. And that's a cool place, and they have an upcoming thing on Saturday.
So push on it. Make it happen.
I'm just
Preference,
letting you know.
it is your preference.
That's one item. Susan's Place was brought up as another potential, so just for like the future list.
So now keep in mind that I did make a thing, I will send everybody the link, you can put all your ideas in, or send me the ideas and I'll put them in, and then you can see what's in the queue.
Okay.
On my Google site. And as you already remember, scheduling and meeting stuff is totally allowed to be done with a quorum, and that is not against open meeting law. Anything else about the next meeting?
Fingers crossed you'll have stuff, fingers crossed we will be able to have the draft economic development.
That would be great.
We can't, there's no way we're not.
Even if we can't discuss it at the next meeting, just have it in the packet would be great.
I don't see anything about your temporary sign ordinance, Kevin.
I noticed that, actually.
So
I
that
didn't wanna
needs to get
mention it
put back on.
because I didn't need to make the agenda any longer than it is already. But, yeah, just noticed that, you have to send it in that.
I didn't know what to do with that.
You're supposed to add it at least at the meeting, I don't know.
Didn't we have it the last one?
No.
It was on past one, but I was looking for feedback.
I'm so sorry. I thought we had, that's my mistake. I thought for sure we had that on the last packet. It was redundant, but I will get that on.
What happened was I had a printout of it and I said, look it over and, let's bring it to the next meeting for action potentially.
Will do. No problem. We'll get that right there.
If you don't find it, let me know, I'll send you another. Looking for a motion to adjourn,
I don't wanna adjourn yet, I'm not done.
then you have more at the next meeting?
We never talked about community day, and I wanted to get
It's not on the
a
agenda.
scoop on that, no, I'd like to end it.
Any objections? Hearing none, go ahead and do it.
I thought community day was exceeded all of my expectations. I know it's been going on for a couple of years. I hadn't been there lately, once the name has changed and location had changed. And I thought it was a great place to see people and lots of staff were there and just a really nice combination. And I guess last year, sort of the local government people were relegated to one place, but this year they were intermingled. So you didn't know whether you're coming up to a craft table or the rec table or, so I think that was really a great way to structure it. So kudos to people who organized it and I thought the weather cooperated really nicely and the crowd built as the day went on.
So, I have a question, so we do another event, very similar, not exactly the same. In March. I'm not sure what it's called exactly, it's the thing before the town meeting. but it's more government oriented, obviously. I just wonder if it's too much of a load and we should.
Yeah, I don't know what the staff requirements were, you could tell us, I don't know if you're required to be there, or you're paid extra to be there, but I mean, it is definitely.
I volunteered to be there, I volunteered to be at the pre-town meeting and that. The reason I volunteered is it's a great way. You're talking to different people in community day than you are in town meeting. Town meeting is a great place to recruit commission members, so people who wanna run for select board, people who are active, because the people who are drawn, people are much more interested in the municipality, what's going on. This way you get new people with the community day, and it's not a big lift, I mean, the person who's all looking was Catherine, I mean, she said that, and we had Brittany. And Brittany put all of those wonderful little packages together and found them for the kids, and it's not, I think it's a wonderful event, and I think it brings the town together, and I said, you get different populations, so you get more information out.
Is it your sense that it costs us? Which department is responsible mostly to do the work? Like get all the booths and get the money and all that?
It's Kate LaRoe, it's Tammy and Kate in communications.
Interesting, so it's not Parks and Rec.
No,
It is Parks and
Farmers
Rec.
Market, which is very similar sort of activity.
It's all Parks and Rec, it's not Kate and Tammy, it's all Parks and Rec.
oh, it is all part of it, I didn't realize that, thank you,
That makes more
thank
sense.
God, Brittany, shifted.
That makes more sense. Thank you for that, Brittany.
Yeah. They may have, for my standpoint.
Can we get a sense, can you reach out to Parks and Rec for us? We're not supposed to be talking to the departments directly.
Get a weather report?
Yeah, I'm kind of curious. I want to get a sense as to, should we be thinking about consolidating in any way? Is it, are we making money? Are we losing money? How much are we losing? Is it worth it? Stuff like that. It's a lot. I mean, I agree 100%. It's a good event. And the timing of whether dependent obviously, but.
It's a different time of day though, like you don't get the families coming to town meeting night, because it's over dinner and it's an evening.
But actually,
This is
what
an all day.
what I'm meaning towards is begging the thing before town meeting.
Yeah, that's what it's, that's a recruiting thing.
But it's not a vote anymore. I think with less and less people, I don't know. I wanna learn
The
more.
people voted to do that. The voters voted to do that, so I
Voted to
wanna
do
honor
what?
that they, to put the budget on the ballot and have just an informational meeting, so the people who go to that town there before the town meeting information session are looking for town information, so I think it's great that we're doing that.
Okay. All right, so just give us a sense as to, maybe compared to the farmer's market, I wanna learn more about the costs associated with that event.
And
And,
speaking of farmer's market, I'd like that on our agenda for next time, because I'd love to hear from Parks and Rec. Like, now that we've done it for a year, did it
Yeah.
pay, did the vendors keep showing up? Did it fade after July, or like, I want the whole,
yeah,
like, summary
that's a
of
very
their
good, very
experience.
good idea.
Again, because it's a business driver for us, right?
Absolutely, yeah, that one is very, very important.
Because that's all, that's our, that, the people there are small business owners
I know.
and our farmers, it's great.
Well, the problem is, I went almost every weekend, I guess it maybe three. We got less and less and less and less.
Yeah, I've been also.
I was disappointed actually, so
Yeah,
I'm wondering, I wanna know more. I mean, this question is exactly spot on. Can you please, maybe I'll just add it as an agenda item, it's nice to have, Adrian, President of Capital today.
yeah.
Would be
Or
helpful.
Nicole, or whoever, you know, whoever does it. I
Yeah,
really
that's
understand
our
what
question.
you're saying.
Maybe the farmer's market needs to be less time, I don't know, or maybe somehow consolidated and maybe not be.
Maybe you
It
don't.
wasn't a farmer's market at the beginning at all, it was a food truck, yeah.
Because they couldn't, I can answer that, sure, because there were no,
Farm
it, there was no produce really available at that point.
Let me say it this way, when I saw community day, there was a lot of booths, a lot of people there. When I saw farmer's market, not so many. Questions?
I think there are ways that there's a question about, like, if you really want the farmer's market, like, why we were charging people the first year we had a farmer's market. I would have
Hold that
said,
question for the
that,
meeting.
right, it's like, we wanna see, so we would have people come or have Essex-based businesses come for free.
Hold that question for the meeting, those are great questions, and we should definitely be asking them, so we can answer them. All right, was there something else you wanted to add to the agenda now? You'll need unanimous consent.
Okay.
Very good, all right. In that case, I'll make a motion, I will seek a motion to adjourn, I should not do that. Thank you, motion to adjourn by Irene Brown, a second please,
I second.
by Ann Miller. All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
3-0, we are adjourned. Thank you for a lovely meeting, folks.